question comes, why was Jesus drinking the cup of the wrath of God? Folks, it was because Jesus was suffering the just punishment that all of us deserve. I want to read several statements from Scripture where this fact is brought out, that the cup that Jesus drank, the cup of the wrath of God, of His Father, the justice of His Father, actually means that Jesus was bearing the sins of the whole world upon His shoulders. Notice Galatians chapter 3 and verse 13. Galatians 3 and verse 13. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. Let me ask you, is the law bad? Many Christians think that the law is bad. Even though the Apostle Paul said that the law is holy and just and what? Holy and just and good. Who's bad? We are. Why does the law curse us? Because we're sinners. The law says, if you live in harmony with my principles, I bless you. If you violate my principles, the curse will fall upon you. The law is not bad. It's sin that is bad. And so it says, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. How did Jesus do this? How did He redeem the world from the curse of the law? It says, having become a what? Having become a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree. Do you know where that expression, that phrase comes from? Cursed is everyone who hangs on a tree. It actually comes from Deuteronomy 21, verses 22 and 23. And I'm just going to mention this. It's not in your list of texts. You know, the enemies of Israel, when they were captured, they were slain and they were hung on trees outside the encampment of Israel. And they were considered cursed and forsaken by God. And after they were dead, actually they were taken down from the, they weren't crosses, they were actually stakes of wood. They were taken down at sundown and they were placed in a cave and stones were placed at the entrance to the cave. Now, does that sound familiar? Let me ask you, Jesus Christ, was He looked upon as cursed by God? Absolutely He was. When was His body removed from the cross? Right around when the sun was going to what? To set. And He was hung where? He was hung on a tree. And where was He buried? He was placed in a cave. And what was placed in front of the cave, the entrance to the cave? A stone was placed by the entrance of the cave. In other words, this punishment was the punishment for the worst sinners against Israel. And Jesus suffered the worst kind of humiliation and punishment for the human race because He bore the sin of the whole world. You know, there are people in the world today who have committed, actually they don't live today, but they lived in the world, and they committed suicide because they had such a guilty conscience. Now, can you imagine what it would be like to bear upon yourself the guilt of every sin that has been committed, is being committed, or will be committed in human history? Actually, that is what crushed out the life of Jesus. That's what broke His heart. Jesus did not die of the wounds that He received. Even the soldier was surprised when he came. The centurion came and found Him dead. And he thrust a spear through his side. He was surprised that he wasn't dead because the thieves were still alive. Because Jesus did not die from His physical wounds. Jesus died of a broken heart because His Father, at least he felt, had forsaken Him. He could not see the reconciling face of His Father because He was bearing the guilt of the whole human race.